Come tag along with us for a day in the life in our homeschool. I'm Kathleen Lewis, a homeschool graduate and a homeschool mom of 2. I have a 1-year-old and a gifted 4-year-old. In this video, you'll see some just tips for dealing with a toddler while trying to homeschool older kids, as well as some of the unique things about homeschooling a gifted kid, and of course, just day-to-day tips on homeschooling in general.
Okay, school time. School time. Oh, are you coming for school, Thea? Yes, your lovey can come too.
I intentionally choose to start off our homeschool with something easy and simple, something to help Stephen feel like he has accomplished something, which is handwriting for him. Yes, it's not the favorite thing in the world, but it is easy. He can get it done in less than 2 minutes. At the same time, my toddler is insisting on doing something matching what he's doing, so she always starts off with a coloring page of some kind. And this is also an opportunity for me to engage with her with just more language. So you'll see me commenting on what color I'm choosing to use or what color she has, and just different things in the pictures.
Marker! Are you going to use a marker today? Can I color with you, Thea? You want me to use that crayon? Can you move it over here so I can color too? There we go. I'm gonna color the trees. Okay. That's a very light color you're doing. Why don't you do pink instead? That way you can actually see the bird color. Are you doing your handwriting, Stephen? Handwriting. Yes, handwriting. You're doing handwriting too, aren't you? Stephen, do you use? Oh, those are good use. You want me to use pink? Pink. Fix your pencil grip.
So after handwriting, we go into a very short calendar time. Now, originally this started out with me having a bit more in depth of days of the week, repeating them every day to him, and a little bit more structure to it. Now I'm just having him keep up on what day it actually is, so he has a sense of the passage of time. From there, we go into math. We're using RightStart math. Now, one thing I wanted to point out for you here is how much modification I am doing for Stephen. Now, I'll show you into the curriculum in a bit so you can see what I'm changing, but essentially I am doing a few things. I am shortening the lesson quite a bit. This lesson is probably originally meant to be like 30 minutes long, which is not going to go for a 4-year-old, and it's not going to go for a gifted kid. So what I do is cut out the review. I cut out a lot of the repetition, the practice problems, and to be honest, sometimes I even cut out half of the actual teaching because it's belaboring a point which he already has. So that's a skill that I've just developed as I've worked with him, and I'm also gauging it on my own giftedness and what I kind of am guessing would be what he needs. So yeah, it's a big learning curve being able to do that. A few other things you'll note is there's no writing for him, and that was intentional on my part because I wanted him to be able to focus on math and not have to focus on good handwriting in order to be able to do math. So my intention is, until he is a fluent writer, not to make him write anything for math. I'll be his scribe for him. Or he has manipulatives that he can use. Something else you'll see is I'm combining 2 lessons into one because gifted kids fly through material. And I also go a little bit more in depth beyond what the teaching actually is for the day. And that is also intentional because gifted kids prefer more in depth, prefer to be able to latch it on to other things that they already know as well. And that is how I do the review here. So RightStart's lessons begin with a major amount of review, which I cut out for him. But instead, as I'm going through the material, I am tracing it back to things he's already learned, and that's how I work the review in. So normally I keep math lessons 5 to 10 minutes in length, but he was having so much fun with measurement, and I was anticipating this because I knew he loved using tape measures and rulers in general, that I decided to just let him play as much as he wanted with this. So the lesson went on a bit longer, and you'll note that on our visual timer here. And also you'll note in this footage that my daughter gets bored with what she's doing and wants to go explore on her own, so she goes to her toddler shelves and helps herself to that. And that is an intentional setup on my part so that she can get something else and entertain herself while I'm working with my older son. So let me show you inside RightStart Math's teacher's manual for what I was teaching today. We have lesson 101 and lesson 102 that I covered. The lessons always start with a warm-up, which counting by ones from 40 to 100, and then by tens to 300s, and then by 5s to 50 is going to take a long time and be insanely boring for a gifted kid. So I always skip that. I have done like 1 day of review just for a one-off thing for this to keep up his skills, but drills like that are just not going to go with a gifted child. Now the meat of the material here belabors the point on talking on how to measure. Plus, it did not use a ruler. So I completely ditched this essentially to talk about how to measure and the measuring units, and then combine that with centimeters. Traced it back to an actual ruler. Yes, using the some of the things they have in here as tools, and then the idea of measuring the abacus with a ruler, though, not with these, because that just makes more sense to a gifted child, because that's where you're going to end up eventually, and he already knows how to use rulers, so it just makes more sense. One thing I did use from here, which I don't normally do, is the worksheet. This was him measuring the different sizes of the shapes. But he did go on to want to do it in using both inches and centimeters, and then from there measuring anything he could find on the table. So yes, we went a lot more in depth than is here, including labeling the units that you're actually using: inches, centimeters, hands, etc., because all of that's very important foundation for measurement of any kind. Can I do purple? Can I do purple? Did you mark off the days?
I marked off that day. Tumble.
Okay.
Ooh.
Let's do math. You want to do math, Thea? I have the book right here. You want to do your book? Okay. Stephen, can you get the tiles? We are going to learn about measuring. So line up tiles on the edge of this.
That's 2 tiles long.
Mm-hmm. Now there's different methods we can use to measure different units. Measure with a ruler to see how many tiles, how many inches one tile is.
Okay. 1 inch.
Yup.
Okay.
But we're going to use these next. Now see how many of these line up on the edge of the cube.
Cube.
Tia, we're using these. You get to use this. How many of these cubes?
5.
5. And now let's measure on here. I'm going to have you switch to the other side of the ruler though.
Yeah.
For measurement. This is the metric, and this is what we use here in the US to measure everything in inches. We can say the cube is 1 hand wide, but my hand is different from your hand, isn't it?
Yes.
So we always have to say what kind of units we're using to measure. Okay, now I want you to see.
The cube is 2 inches long.
Yep.
3.
Okay, now let's put all of these together. All of these together. How long is that? 9 inches, because each of them is 3 inches long. So there's 3 threes. Okay, let's see, what else can we measure? Can you measure, oh, I know what else you can measure. There's different ways you can measure this. We're going to use centimeters for this one though. So we already know this is 2 inches long, but how many centimeters is it?
4.
It's a little bit more than 4. It's about 4.5, 5? No, it's 5 centimeters. You get it. I want you to figure out how long one bead is. Use centimeters. How long is one bead?
1.
Yeah, so this is how many, if we have each bead be 1 centimeter. Can you make a guess on how many it is?
10.
Now measure, see if you're right.
Yes.
Yep. Is Thea wanting to measure? Let's measure. How long is it? It is about 22 centimeters. What else can you measure?
15.
15 centimeters? You want to measure one of these? 15 centimeters. Okay, now let's measure the rectangle. No, Thea, you do not draw on the ruler. You only draw on paper. Let's measure. It is
6.5.
10 centimeters.
Half. I got 6.5.
6. I call that 6 1/4. So this is the half mark. This right here would be 1/4. Or 1/4. So I would write that 6 1/4 inch. Can you tell me how long this side would be? How long is this side?
5.
6 1/4. And is this side the exact same length as this side?
Yes.
So how long is this side?
6 1/4.
Good job. If you want to measure to double check, you can.
I want to measure this side.
Okay. The next thing I do after math is reading. I am working on teaching Stephen how to read using phonics. And there's really been one major hurdle for him that took a few weeks for him to get the hang of, and that was learning how to blend sounds initially. And that had its own trouble, its own emotional turmoil with it, which is something you'll have to get used to as a gifted parent teaching gifted children. They have huge emotions. We have huge emotions. And a lot of the time it is hard for maturity level to keep up with the big emotions. So it's something you'll have to work on, something you'll have to teach the kids to control. And you'll see a tiny bit of that coming out here. Stephen starts getting really frustrated with himself because he's not catching the concept as quickly as he thinks he should be able to. Compounded onto that is a distracting toddler. And so you'll see how I deal with Stephen and his frustration as well as the distracted toddler. So yes, this is the second concept that was a little bit of a challenge for him. I've not had as much issue teaching him to read since the original learning how to blend, but this was a new and fairly challenging concept of beginning of the word, this side over here in the camera, beginning of the word blends of consonants. And according to the teacher's manual, it is a fairly difficult thing for children to learn. So he got it by the end of the lesson, and again, that's evidence of giftedness. Kids need to have a lot more repetition typically before they get it. But yeah, that you'll see that here in the video.
And my scissors.
or 5 inches.
Okay, time to put the ruler down. Steven.
3.
Nope, you can measure everything later. Actually, we'll put it right here. That'll be your ruler, okay? Okay, we are still practicing smushing consonants together. So, we're going to smush them together at the beginning of the word instead of an end of the word. Can you tell me the sound of each of these letters? Okay, now smush them. Oh, say it slower. Let's do this. What are these two sounds? Now smush these two sounds. There's no ah in there. It's you say sp, like spoon. Now let's add these two. What's the word?
I don't know.
Oh, you're getting so close. Thea's making a lot of noise, isn't she?
Yes. Because she's not being quiet. I can't hear what the word is.
Yes, you don't, Thea. You can play with the tiles or the letters. You can't play with both. So you can play with the tiles, okay?
Hi.
Okay, let's sound each letter out.
E, A, G. It,
Okay, let's try it this way. What's these two sounds?
E.
Fla.
Blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Fla.
Flag. Flag.
Good job.
Kite.
That one was easier. What's this? Okay. Oh, this is a B. This is the beginning of the bed. Sticks the beginning of the bed. Okay, smush them. The th was right. Let's take the B away for now. So what's this? Raw.
Frog.
What's the word?
Frog.
Frog. Good job. Okay, one more word. We need the E and the D. Okay, this one's the fun word.
No. Sound. No.
Sound out each one separate. Put the tiles in here.
No.
This is an F.
Good job. Okay, I have a flipper. Let's see if we can do a flipper really fast. Let's figure out the beginning sound.
Pl.
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 As in please, and plate, and plastic. Now let's see what this word is.
Plus. Plus.
Uh-huh.
Cat.
Plus.
Plug.
Good job.
Plum.
That's a fruit.
As referenced earlier, I use a visual timer to limit us to 30 minutes of formal, structured table school. That is intentional because as a 4-year-old, I recognize his typical development needs small learning time. As a gifted child, he is more inclined to want to learn, to want to struggle through some of those things, but I'm still trying to respect his 4-year-old development. And what that looks like in practice is math and reading take up about 15-20 minutes, depending on the difficulty of the topic for the day. Today, I went to the full 30 minutes because he was having so much fun in math, and the reading was a little bit more challenging to him than typical. So yeah, I went to the end, but I always tried to end table school with something he finds really, really fun. And for him, that is his coding workbook. His coding workbook is way too easy for him. It doesn't really teach much computer coding, but it is essentially a cut and paste and color and activity book, which is very appropriate for a 4-year-old developmentally wise. And so that is his like reward for a job well done. So yes, 30 minutes, but I think the original footage I had was a full 45 minutes spent at the table. And he was still doing more stuff after I went off on my own with my daughter. So while Steven is enjoying whatever activity I have set him up on to go work on independently, I try to do record keeping immediately and clean up. But then I try to also have intentional time with my toddler so that she has mommy time, some focused mommy time of playing at the table. And also I can help work through some of her developmental needs, which right now is mostly fine motor skills and language development. So you'll see me interacting with her with stickers, naming the animals, which is both a language and a fine motor activity that we're doing there. And as I was putting away the alphabet letters that I used for Steven, she was showing interest in wanting to do it. Play with it. So I gave her the cookie sheet that I set up for her with the magnetic letters. And she was so interested that I decided to go further. And she is a 1-year-old. I am not teaching alphabet right now. It is not developmentally appropriate for a 1-year-old. And I have a video coming out later about the research behind that and when they're ready to actually learn the alphabet. But what I did do with her was start working on vocalization with her name, and she was having a fun time mimicking me, so that was a game for her. And then I went on to set up the alphabet and sing the alphabet song as a way to introduce yet another fun introduction to language.
Uh-huh.
That's
it. Good job. Okay, we have 1 minute left. So just enough time to do one of your pages from your thinking book. That took a lot longer, didn't it?
what?
It took longer, didn't it? Because we had fun with math. Thea needs to pick up. Okay, do you want to do one page of your thinking book?
Coding.
Coding?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm doing a butterfly.
Oh, fun. Let's see. Make a butterfly that has patterns on its wings. So you're supposed to, I'm going to rip this page out for you. So you're supposed to cut out each piece, but I would suggest you color the wings before you cut them out. Okay. There's the instructions.
There's a heart and an X.
You want me to do it? Yes. Okay.
I'm not going to color an X on my wing. The first step I'm going to do is cut the antenna out. I'm going to get the red scissors. Cut one of the antennas.
There's no more books I need. Do you want to keep coloring this? I've got stickers. Do you want to put stickers on here? Yes. Okay. Can you get them on, or do you want help?
Help.
Okay, I'll help.
Oh.
You don't need help, Cindy. That is a warthog. You got a snake.
I'm thinking of which pattern I'm going
No.
to do
No.
first.
This is not something you get to play with. If you want to play with these, you can. You want to play with these? I. A. B.
And two triangles and two lines.
A.
Ta,
Ta.
ta, ta.
Ta. Can you say? Can you say eh?
Eh,
Can you say ah?
ah,
Can you say eh?
eh.
Good job.
And then X.
Okay, here we go. These ABCs. Q, R, S, T, U, V,
And then
W, X,
circle.
Y, and Z.
And
Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Do you want to do it again? Can you say again? Can you say again? More?
no.
Okay. Q, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? All done. Do you want to go sing with instruments? Yes. Okay, we'll put this away. We'll go do a morning basket. Yes, morning basket.
So learning the alphabet is way too early for her, but she loves singing. And so we had fun with that. And then after this video is ended, we went and did our morning basket together, which you can see right here in this video, some of the stuff that I put into the morning basket. If you guys have any more questions on what I do, drop those down in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them for you.